As the 2025 NBA Western Conference Finals rolled into Game 2, the Oklahoma City Thunder once again imposed their will on the Minnesota Timberwolves, this time with greater precision and urgency. What began as a competitive start quickly evolved into a demonstration of tactical dominance, as the Thunder executed on both ends of the floor to seize a commanding 2-0 series lead. In this analysis, we'll first revisit the pivotal elements of Game 2, then enter the war rooms of both coaching staffs for a full SWOT breakdown, followed by strategic recommendations as the series shifts to Minneapolis for Game 3. Welcome to Jintotski Sports, your spot for all things sports. From legendary moments and big-time plays to inspiring stories and deep dives, we bring you the content that keeps the game alive. If you love sports as much as we do, hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. The second contest of this best-of-7 series tipped off with Minnesota seeking redemption after a flat Game 1. For much of the first half, they found it. Anthony Edwards attacked with conviction, putting up 32 points and shouldering a heavy offensive load. But despite their early aggression, the Timberwolves never seemed to string together enough consistency. By the third quarter, Oklahoma City's core trio, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren, flipped the script. Shai, recently crowned league MVP, orchestrated with cold efficiency, tallying 38 points while controlling pace and punishing mismatches. Williams and Holmgren provided elite support, combining for 48 points and wreaking havoc defensively. A 35-21 run in the third quarter broke Minnesota's back, and the Thunder's 118-103 win cemented their growing stranglehold on the series. The Thunder's identity continues to sharpen, and in Game 2, their strengths were not just reaffirmed, they were expanded. Their strength lies in the seamless synergy between their young core. Gilgeous-Alexander's balance of poise and aggression sets the tone. His ability to generate offense in isolation while still facilitating team rhythm has placed the Timberwolves' defense under relentless pressure. Williams' slashing and two-way impact give OKC an invaluable secondary engine, while Holmgren's shot deterrence and emerging scoring touch at the rim provide structure. However, weaknesses persist. OKC remains relatively untested in high-pressure late-series playoff environments. While they controlled the first two games, their reliance on short spurts to pull away, rather than sustained dominance, leaves some margin for collapse if momentum shifts. The opportunity now lies in closing the door early. A 2-0 series lead puts them in position to go for the jugular in Minnesota and keep their rotation fresh for a possible finals run. The more they can control the tempo, the less likely fatigue or inexperience will come into play. But they face threats if overconfidence creeps in. Young teams often falter on the road when they begin to believe the series is already in hand. Moreover, any injury to Gilgeous-Alexander or disruption in defensive rotations could offer Minnesota a way back into contention. In the Thunder's war room, head coach Mark Daigneault will emphasize continuity and attention to detail. The message will be simple: stay hungry. Oklahoma City's switching defenses worked, but Minnesota may start hunting more favorable matchups. Maintaining defensive discipline, particularly against Edwards' first step and Gobert screens, will be crucial. Offensively, Shai will be empowered to keep attacking, but look for increased usage of Williams in high pick-and-rolls to test Minnesota's weak side coverage. For Minnesota, Game 2 revealed as much about what they lack as what they still possess. Their primary strength remains Edwards, whose commitment to scoring, rebounding, and competing, even while possibly hampered by a lingering ankle issue, is unquestioned. His ability to break defensive schemes keeps the Timberwolves afloat when offensive sets stagnate. Rudy Gobert's rebounding and rim presence continue to be vital in preventing complete collapse. But glaring weaknesses have now emerged. Julius Randle's inability to contribute effectively has left the offense one-dimensional. In Game 2, he tallied just 6 points and sat out most of the final quarter. Their bench, too, has failed to inject life into the rotation, lacking the shooting and defensive discipline needed to challenge OKC's second unit. Their opportunity, if it exists, rests in the shift to home court. Target Center offers Minnesota both atmosphere and urgency. Role players typically perform better in familiar confines. If they can draw early energy, push tempo, and get Randall or Mike Conley going, they could shift the tone of the series. But the threats are cascading. Another loss could psychologically unravel the group. Edwards cannot carry the scoring load alone, and a continued lack of interior production and defensive switches could make this series short-lived. If adjustments aren't made now, it may be too late. In Minnesota's war room, Chris Finch faces his toughest challenge of the season. He must recalibrate the offense to ease Edwards' burden while reviving Randall's utility. That may mean moving Randall to initiate from the elbow or staggering him to get cleaner looks. Defensively, they need to disrupt Shai's mid-range rhythm and collapse more efficiently when Holmgren rolls to the rim. A lineup tweak may be necessary, perhaps reducing Randall's minutes in favor of more defensive wings to contain OKC's off-ball motion. With Game 3 on the horizon, the series narrative hinges on one question. Can Minnesota respond with urgency and discipline, or will the Thunder's wave of momentum crash over them entirely? Oklahoma City has earned its advantage, but the Timberwolves have one final opportunity to reassert themselves. Game 3 is more than a test of tactics, it's a test of resolve. Thanks for watching Jintatsky Sports. If that video hit home or gave you something to think about, drop a like and let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that bring the heart of sports to life. Until next time, stay inspired and keep chasing greatness.